Gary Manier has been a good friend of ours for a long time. We're working on 20 years here on the Greg and Dan Show in June. He, at 24 years of being mayor of Washington, is wrapping it up today. Today's the last day, huh?
It is, absolutely.
Good to see you. When you first started 24 years ago, why did you run?
I think it was just wanting to make a difference. Mayor Gronwall at the time decided to retire, and I was serving as president of the high school board for several years, and I just thought maybe it was time, and I told my wife on Thanksgiving Day, and she looked at me like I was nuts. And my father, first thing he said, he goes, "What party are you running at?" And I said, "Republican." He said, "Let's eat." So he was a staunch Democrat, so that didn't go well.
That's hilarious. But there's a hesitation the first time, right? That was the first time, well, you school board, but when you're in the mayoral office, mayor's office, or state rep and all that kind of stuff, you have to understand going in, and it's worse today than it's ever been, that it can be rough. People go after you. People say things. People write letters to the editor. Today they'll do it on Facebook, right?
I'm just very thankful that social media wasn't alive and well in 2001.
Yeah. You know, and the thing is, too, and following it here in Peoria, the council people that occasionally will get on the board, there's kind of a variety of people there. And so you've got to deal with all sorts of personalities, don't you?
Absolutely. That becomes a real balance. I was fortunate to have probably almost 20 years of a very good working together council. I watched Mayor Artis from a distance and felt sorry for him at a lot of council meetings and things. But,
it can be rough, yeah.
Lately, some people have been elected that just want to see change, and it's all about, that you haven't done a very good job because you've been in the seat too long, possibly, So it's been a challenge the last 4 years.
So you are, without a doubt, going to be always defined as the mayor of the tornado times, and both the day of and the years subsequently after that. What else and we'll come back to that in a minute, but what else to you as a 24-year mayor stands out as something that you're like, I'm really proud of that?
Well, I think 5 Points Washington. I think 5 Points Washington helped. I'll never forget Mayor Gary Eftreen and Kay were the chairman of the committee to try to get this thing moved forward, and I went to him and said, what about if we do it all together and get 4 taxing bodies and a not-for-profit 501(c) together? And Gary Eftreen said, I don't know anything about it. I know a lot about radios and tires and different things. But if you think using common walls works, he said, I'm all in. So we were able to get that off the ground and running. Took a little bit longer. It was about a $17.5 million. But by the time we got it, finally got it built, it was $21.5 million. But it's kind of our staple in our community.
It is a beautiful facility.
And growth. You go down 24 as you're heading to Eureka. You can see the expansion and growth of new homes, new subdivisions. Correct.
Right. Our population's gone, from a little over 10,000 to, 16.6 since I was first elected. So, usually, especially if you mention tornadoes, Joplin lost population after their tornado. And we were so blessed that people wanted to stay here. And I always tell people sometimes it's the community you are before the disaster that helps you get through it.
Let's talk about that for a second. Why do you think people stayed? Just because it's such a beautiful place, or a welcoming community, or all that stuff?
Yeah, and I think it's, the type of community you're living in and the fabric of Central Illinois, period. But, people just want to be here. And whether it's the kids went to school there, or the kids were in school, our schools are second to none. And I think it just helped us, and 5 Points helps attract people to move to our community and things. So I think people just want to be where they grew up, or where their kids grew up, or I think it's.
What was the percentage of people who were displaced in the tornado that came back?
Oh gosh,
or stayed.
I would hate to say there was probably only about 6 or 7 lots that weren't built on.
That's what I thought.
A lot of others were people bought the neighbor's lot or split it with the neighbors to make their yards bigger, and now they get more yard work. But it's been wonderful.
You talk about your schools. You came from being president of the school board into mayor, so you know that connection, because when people are coming into Central Illinois and choosing real estate, cost is one thing, but a lot of people have kids. They look for the value of the school system.
Absolutely. They look at that scorecard and compare, and, we compare, obviously, with Metamora and Dunlap and Morton, and it's very competitive. But our athletics have done well, and our music program and drama and everybody, it's just clicking. And we've been really successful, and I think people moving in wanting to be near a great school, I think that helps.
7:45, Greg and Dan on WMBD. We're talking with Gary Menier, the mayor of Washington, and today's the last day after 24 years. What made you decide to retire?
I think it was just a matter of time. I think one is the more difficult getting things done at the council table was part of it. I'll be 71 in August. 7 grandkids. I think missed a lot of activities over the years due to meetings or boards that I serve on and things. And was a member of the IML, second vice president of that league, and it just took time away from things that I could go to.
For the incoming mayor, is there anything you'd go, I always wanted to finish this? Is there anything on the table that you wish you could have finished?
Well, I think, first of all, it's not broke. We're financially sound, and we got a lot of money in reserves. And I think the main thing is trying to create more tax dollars. And that becomes difficult in a bedroom community. People want to live in Washington, but they don't necessarily want to do business in Washington. But now with Tangled Roots opening and things, hopefully it'll be like the Heights. Once a nice restaurant comes in, you'll see it kind of explode.
And that square has so much potential. I've always loved that square, the antique shops. Right, yeah.
And in 1967, the ladies of the Garden Club saved that square from being a straight through. IDOT was going to remove that. And,
You're kidding.
And we saved the square back in 1967.
I did not know that.
It would be a whole different community.
Yeah. All right, now let's talk about you as a rock and roll star. Because you have become friends with some musicians because of the tornado and some other things. Chicago, right? The band Chicago. You're buddies with those guys. They came down. Have any of them reached out to you to say goodbye or say, hey, good luck and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I'll see Peter Chivarelli, and he's the band manager of Chicago on July 1st. I'll be in Peoria. So I'll get a chance to see him. And, I've talked to him a couple times. Kevin Cronin sent me a message.
From REO Speedwagon.
From REO. And haven't heard from Styx yet. But
isn't that
Tommy
funny?
Shaw.
Isn't that a strange we all wished it hadn't happened, right, the tornado. But as a result of that, you became friends with some people, famous people, who wanted to help raise money to help everybody get back to square one. And those just happen to be 3 of those folks.
Right.
Chicago Styx and REO.
Peter Chivarelli, after their concert in February, after the tornado, wanted to meet me, and I was ready to go back to Washington. And Carol Marine from Chicago News Media said, I was on the elevator with her, and she pushed the button to the basement and said, "You're going to meet him." And he took my cell phone number and has since invited me to concerts.
Isn't that funny?
Always tells me that Obama let us down on the FEMA doctrine, but you're the greatest mayor ever. So we always tease about that. But he's a great guy.
Well, besides grandkids and the time with your family, do you have anything you're going to do? Do you got a pet project? Are you going to announce someday that you're going to be opening for REO Speedwagon or anything? What are you going to work on? Because here's what I worry about. We're all generally the same age, us guys, and sometimes you slow down real quick. It's not always healthy for you.
Exactly right.
You need to keep going.
Right. My 42-year career at Caterpillar, I've had a lot of friends that retired, and then 9 months later they check out.
Yeah.
But,
what are you going to do?
I get yard work. Need to make my yard look a little better so the city doesn't write me up for having long grass.
That would be
or
sweet.
something.
That would be so sweet, Danny. Gary Menier gets a citation because his
ordinance
law
violation.
is not right. Yeah.
Yeah. So just staying busy, doing more that I can do around the house and things. So
love on your family. They'll love on you. That's the best thing.
I got to appreciate my wife for allowing me to do this for that long, and the kids. You live under a microscope when you're in these positions, and it's tough on the whole family.
Well, hey, sleep in and enjoy it.
Don't sleep too late because we want you to still listen to the Greg and Dan show.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
and I want to thank you for what you did through the tornado. You kept our residents informed, and
you're welcome.
When people were out of touch, didn't have power for that first 3 days, they were able to grab a radio and listen to you folks.
It's our job and our pleasure to do it. But thank you for being a friend of the show. Congratulations on retirement. Congratulations on 24 years. City of Washington has never looked and sounded and is better than it is right now. So way to go.
Well, thank you. And Greg and Dan, thank you so much.
You are welcome.